Gene, there you are. Cisco, I think. Welcome, everybody, to the Implement Canadian Park and Rec Commission. I'd first like to start with we'll start with the people on Zoom.
Sorted.
Melanie,
I forgot what happened.
thank you. Gene,
It's like the daughter was like.
Keith Ritchie,
Lindsay Aaron,
George Bennington, Doug Murphy, Tim Pumpa, Hank Green.
Sue Leoni.
Thank you. Next order of business is to approve the minutes from our March.
It's podcast, right? It's funny. Yeah, it's podcast is so successful. They have so much advertising.
I'm gonna do the minutes.
Move, is there a second? Renee, thank you. All those in favor of approving the minutes? Right hand. Opposed? So carries. I'd like to, oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Abstain.
Oh, you abstained, two abstentions, so they weren't here at the last meeting. Sorry. Thank you. Like to just quickly change the order of business and welcome our first select person to stand for our annual nomination of officers.
Thanks. Before I start, thank you all for your service to the town. I don't come to these meetings, but I actually watch all of your meetings, so I actually get to see all that you're doing, so thank you for all you're doing. So this is my one joy and duty for all the boards and commissions is I get to run officer election. So I guess we'll start with, are there any nominations for the office of?
I would nominate George and.
Thank you.
I would second it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other nominations for the office of chair? Seeing none, if I could have by show of hands, all those in favor of George Bennington for chair? It's unanimous. I see even on.
It's unanimous, yeah.
Okay, thank you. It's unanimous. And then do I have any nominations for the office of secretary?
I'd like to nominate Susan Leoni.
Do I have a second? Yeah, we got a second. And do I have any other nominations for the office of secretary? Seeing none, if I could get a vote by raising of hands, all those in favor of Susan Leoni? It looks like it's unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I will leave you to the rest of your meeting.
You don't want to stay? Well, we got some great reports going on right now.
I know you're gonna have some great reports. I've actually talked to these ladies.
Exactly. Well, thank you for coming.
Okay, thanks for having me.
I appreciate that.
Thanks, guys.
Next order of business, Margaret, welcome.
Hi, evening, everyone. I was put my chair so you can see the screen. I'm Margaret Riley, the YMCA's Executive Director. Thank you for giving me this opportunity tonight to speak with you about the programs that the YMCA runs at the town parks, Kiwanis Park and the Steve Benko Pool.
We'll get there. You can start now.
To get my thing here if we can.
They have a copy with them. There we go. Someone. No, go back to. There.
Thanks so much. We can start to move to the next slide if you would. Thank you. So I always like to start with a little bit of history when I come to speak with you about our Y and our partnership with Camp Waikai. The Y was founded in 1954 and Camp Waikai has been at Kiwanis Park since 1955. So these young campers here are wearing their Waikai shirts. This photo was taken in 1959. The summer of 2025 will be our 70th summer at Kiwanis Park, which means that tens of thousands of kids have participated in camp, either as counselors or campers, and for many of them, both. As you know, the Y as a nonprofit has three primary areas of focus: youth development, social responsibility, and healthy living. And the thing we love about camp is that it allows us to address each one of those focuses. With respect to youth development, camp allows us to engage kids of all ages. It's a broad range of ages from ages 6 to 15, so really from elementary school into high school. We have the campers, leaders in training, counselors in training, and our counselors. We have 4 sessions of camp. We do 2-week sessions, run from June till mid-August. It's really a full summer of camp, about 160 campers per session. Camp day runs from 9 to 4, with the option for an extended day, which is especially helpful for parents who work away from home. As you can see from this photo, Kiwanis Park provides a beautiful, rustic, authentic camp experience. Kids are engaged in activities outdoors all day long, and the camp is really a very beautiful spot for it. In terms of those camp activities, and with respect to our ability to engage kids in healthy living, we have swimming and swim lessons. So swim lessons are provided for any camper who needs lessons. We do evaluations at the beginning of the summer, and there are no additional charges to parents for those lessons. There's boating, archery, field trips, river walks, crafts, dress-up day, and color wars. We bring in inflatables for the kids. There's family visiting day, holiday celebrations, and creative arts and music and theater. Last year, we started a service for parents where we were having lunches brought to camp for children, so parents could offer them ahead of time. It's the vendor that the Y uses for its cafe. His name is EB222. And this year, he's experimenting with bringing hot lunches for the kids, like macaroni and cheese and chicken fingers and things like that. So, and the parents, again, would be able to order sort of on an app in advance. So we're hoping to expand that service this year. With respect to youth development, we engaged 60 teenagers in 2024, participating as leaders in training and counselors in training. Leaders in training tend to be between 12 and 13 years old. They're kind of a cross between a camper and a leader, and each one of them takes a Red Cross babysitting class and they will become certified in that. The counselors in training are between ages of 14 and 15. They're training to become counselors at our camp. They work with young campers and they do a community service project each year. With respect to employment, the Y employs 70 youth every summer for our camp as counselors and lifeguards and waterfront directors. And we consider that to be a teaching opportunity for us. We help children to learn how to interact with an HR office, how to work with their supervisor, how to get along with coworkers, how to start a direct deposit account. So they learn a little bit about everything, and it's there for a lot of people, a lot of kids in the town, working for the Y is their first employment opportunity. We also strive to make sure that camp is affordable to all. Every year, the Y provides approximately $50,000 in financial assistance to campers. So typically about 40 campers will benefit from some financial assistance. Our camp is also licensed by the state of Connecticut, which means that our policies and procedures are held to very high standards. Our counselors receive special training for safety for youth. They have background checks done, physical exams, and we maintain strict camper to counselor ratios. Camp is also an opportunity for us to celebrate all abilities. In last summer, we had 42 campers with varying abilities attend our camp, and the Y provides a summer camp aid to children with special needs at no additional cost to their parents. So their fee for camp remains the same as everybody's fee for camp. We also have a full-time inclusion and support director who's at our Y full-time, and in the summertime, she spends her days at the camp to help support all of those campers with special needs. And we also have a camp nurse who's on site all day as well. With respect to the Steve Benko pool, and I love this photo, I think we all remember the day that your child finally finds the courage to jump off the edge of the pool into your arms or into their instructor's arms. So this will be our 3rd year of partnership with the town to provide swim lessons at the Steve Benko pool. And our shared goal has always been to offer affordable lessons to as many children as possible in a fun environment. And I have to say, I think I became a member of the Benko Pool in 2002, its first year, and it is at least as beautiful now as it was then. It is an absolutely stellar facility. It's really, really beautiful. So it's our pleasure to be there and to engage kids in outdoor swim lessons for a change. We provide lessons to children 6 months to 12 years. We have parent to child classes. We have the opportunity for older kids to work on their stroke and technique. And importantly, we're engaging them in a life-saving and lifelong activity. And finally, I'll just provide you some of the details of our partnerships. So we have a lease agreement, as you know, for Kiwanis Park. It runs through the summer of 2026. At Kiwanis Park, the Y uses approximately 1/3 of the park. It is the section of the park that's furthest from the entrance. The park remains open to residents at all times in the summer. We don't use the main pavilion, we don't use the playground, we use that back area, and we use approximately 1/3 to 1/2, I think, of the pond there. Our enrollment for this year is approximately 80% full. And each year the Y invests in some minor improvements at Kiwanis Park. We do some painting projects and some repair projects. We have that shed there that we use for storage. We do our best to make sure that everything is well maintained. In fact, I was at a meeting this morning, and it was mentioned that we'd like to get a group of volunteers from our staff to come to Kiwanis Park on Earth Day to do some picking up. I hear it looks great already, but if we can go into the trails and do some cleaning.
There's
up and
always
picking
something.
up, we're really happy to offer that service to the town on that day. Our swim lessons are provided essentially at cost. Lessons run from Monday through Friday. They're 1/2 an hour long. We're at the pool before it opens, really, and leave the pool before it opens. So we're there for a couple of hours each morning. The Y handles the registration. We provide the instructors and the lifeguards and all the necessary equipment. So that's really all I have for you this evening, except to say thank you.
Thank you. I think the Exchange Club is going to do Clean the Mile at Kiwanis on the 26th.
Okay.
Pretty sure that was approved by the board.
Okay.
If there's anything different, we have our board meeting tomorrow night. I can find out, but I'm in the 99% sure category.
Okay. If there's another way that we can help you, even near the pool or anything like that, let us know. We'd be happy to do it.
John, what do you guys normally sit down with the wine and discuss following the contract?
If most likely next year, we
Yeah.
could possibly do it earlier too. You know.
Is it a 3-year deal, 3-year contract?
We have 3 years and it goes through 26.
Okay.
So we have this summer and next summer still.
Right.
So even next spring, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you. And as you know, Keith and Tim are heading up a project with Kiwanis right now. I think you were at the.
Yes, I was very happy to be included in that and
Yeah.
was able to attend the first meeting, and tomorrow is our next, right?
Right.
So we'll be-
We'll see you there.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Are there any questions from members of the commission?
You're the new camp director.
We do, and unfortunately, she was not able to attend tonight. Her name is Margot Sullivan. And I will connect her with John so they can do the typical walkthrough that we do at camp in advance, and she'll be the primary person that you'll communicate with. She's got deep camp experience and a great love of camp, which is really what you need to be a success. So I'm sure it's going to be a great relationship going forward. Yeah.
Good. Great. Are there any other questions for Margaret? Well, we greatly appreciate your time and greatly appreciate what you're doing for this community.
Thank you. Same for us, and thank you for the partnership. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a nice-
See you tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next, Ken Garden Club with an exciting plan for Irwin.
Yes, we do.
Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Tori Fraser, Susie Lavinier,
Diane Dooley.
Olivia.
and Olivia is our incoming president, starting in June of 2025. You have right now in front of you to share, the surveys of Irwin Park. And I want to give you this backup as well. They'll just help a little, and I would orient it if you can with Weed Street at the bottom, but do whatever makes sense for you. And we'll pick these up on the way out just to be as green as possible.
Thank you.
Good evening and happy spring, everyone. Horse, should I have seen you? Okay, good. We are here because we are incredibly pleased to share with you the news that Irwin is the recipient of $25,000 worth of trees from the town who came in. I'm sorry that Deanna left because we are really, really thankful to her. She was behind part of this. And the Garden Club in general is extremely, extremely appreciative of this. As some of you may have noticed, hopefully all of you, over the winter, a lot of work was done at Irwin Park. We submitted actually, was it a letter to the editor, for the Buchanan night? Yeah, to thank, the town and also the tree warden for doing so much work this year at Irwin. It was primarily removal of invasive trees, dead trees, and some trimming up of trees, and it was done throughout the park. The 25,000, the new trees that are coming in, the majority of the new trees are gonna be planted along Wahackney Road, which is why I give you this graphic. They are, there are circles on the plan, so many of them will be there. The taller ones will be the backdrop, and then, as they get a little bit smaller, they're not, gonna be a 50-foot tree, it'll move down. Most of them will be backdrop for the new meadow that we're planning to install. The list of the trees, was developed by Titan, the meadow, designer, along with some members of the garden club, mostly the Irwin chairs. And they are primarily, the vast majority are native trees, because as everyone knows, we want this to be part of the pollinator pathway. So you have the graphic in front of you. Does anyone have any questions about what you're seeing or questions about where this is going?
Yeah, I'm struggling to
Okay.
orient myself, because there's what happened, I have a.
You remember
I
the
have a
wild,
Map of Irwin Park right
the
here.
wildflower area,
Yeah.
as you walked around the trails, you came from Weed Street,
Right.
came down the trail, and then it kind of
This
cut away
area
from
right
the
here?
roadway.
Yes, it's that area. right
That's
there.
where the trail will be right at the bottom of that map.
This, okay,
Yeah, so
this is
this
easier, okay.
Wild, not wildflower, this is the native plant
This is gonna be
meadow,
right there?
okay, and then the
Right.
trees all go here, and then there'll be some inside the meadow.
Okay, and
Any other questions?
This is not, because now this time of year is actually spectacular with the daffodils when you're driving down Weed Street. This is not Wahackney, this is not gonna,
Wahackney.
this is not gonna impair that view.
No,
Okay,
no,
okay.
it's not Wahackney.
Okay,
You want it all.
Alright.
A lot of these, some of these trees will replace some of the trees that came down. If you walk or drive down Wahackney towards Weed Street and look to the right, you'll see that it's much clearer looking into the park than it's been for a really long time. So some of these will provide more of a screen for the neighbors, or re-provide that screen for the neighbors with actually good trees instead of invasive trees. So the list of trees has been developed. The next steps are to send the trees out to bid. And then after that, the next step is to go before the Board of Selectmen for their approval for the expenditure of it. That is scheduled for April 22nd. We hope all will go well. And after that, we will, the bids have already been sent out, by the way. And then after that, we'll start planting. Our hope is to begin planting in early May. We met with Tiger and John last week to talk about that, and so we'll be working really closely with them about delivery and all the details that go into planting this number of tree and this number of trees.
What is the number of trees?
It
So
should be
25,000.
almost close to 50.
Okay.
Yeah, so the initial, we're getting some information back from the nurseries where it's coming from, but it looks like it's gonna be close to 50 trees. And also the list was approved by the tree warden already. He was sent the list and has approved those trees. So that was our first step. Any other questions about this? We're really excited. It's really gonna enhance the beauty of Irwin. Anything at all?
I have a question. Hello.
Hi.
So first, thank you for all the work you're doing. I live close to Irwin Park and I try to enjoy it when I can. So thank you for all that work. Now, just a question in terms of the work that was being done. I've noticed that there's a few tree stumps still there and some tree shavings on the ground, which, would not allow other things to grow in there. Is there like a plan to finish that cleanup as you are about to plant, or maybe maybe some trees had to be left there because they could be closer to other tree roots. I know it's really delicate.
So, in general, what the tree warden would do would be to rake that out. If it's in an area that has a lot of trees there where there couldn't be any other undergrowth, it's possible that they're leaving it there. If we knew the exact spot, we could get you a specific answer, but without knowing the specific spot, we can't answer that, but we have seen some cleanup afterwards for some other places where we saw some chips that weren't meant to be left there. I should also mention, he did this a couple different times. They actually recently went in and did some more work in the park 3 weeks ago, I'd say, maybe two weeks ago. So there could be some newly cut areas and they just haven't gone back for the cleanup yet. Does that answer your question?
Yes, wonderful. And I think that it seems like you have a schedule and you're moving along and you have all of that under your radar. So wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Any other questions?
So we just wanted to do a 2-minute update on the mushroom garden area. That,
You need us to approve this first.
Okay.
Right?
okay,
Okay, is there a motion to approve the planting of 50 trees? Lindsay, motion second. Susan, thank you. All those in favor? Abstain? Noes? Carries. Very well.
thank you so much. Sorry about the protocol.
So no, I'm sorry, go ahead on the,
We just wanted to let you know we're moving. The plant material has been chosen and that too should be planted in early May. We just wanted to thank John again and Ryan for moving the equipment and the adjacent courtyard. Thank you, Ryan. We really, really appreciate it. And so that's happening. And then we are planning to launch Friends of Irwin in the near future. So stay tuned and we hope that you all and our community will support Friends of Irwin Park. Thank you so much.
thank you very much for what you guys are doing. Appreciate it. Yeah. Make sure you get my wife out there to plant a tree.
Oh, we will.
Thank you. Hey, great job.
We really appreciate it.
No problem. Okay. What's that?
We got one. Do you want one?
Yeah.
You need more copies.
Unfortunately, Hillary Whitman had a family thing to deal with unexpectedly, so she will be in May. Patricia Spagnani, I have not, she was supposed to be here. Has anybody heard from her? Is she on the Zoom? Okay. We'll move on from there. This is gonna be a quick meeting. And now we'll just turn it over to Keith and Tim to give an update on what's going on with Kiwanis and then Doug will give an update on Nature Center.
Okay, we had our first meeting on March the 27th. We had 15 people attend in person and 5 who were remote via Zoom. We had a very a long agenda, but there was no intention to really cover everything in that. We really wanted just to do some introductions to set the timetable for the next meetings, and which we did. And we issued our minutes, which I can give you a copy of. One of our goals was to find out all the different agreements that govern the use of the park, to see if there's any restrictions on what the master plan can be. I've gotten virtually all of those agreements now from the various parties and Tiger Man. And honestly, there doesn't seem to be anything that's going to be problematic, which is good. So the people that have been represented are we had Keith Simpson and an associate of his. We had Margaret Dubas and Kathy Townsend from Girl Scout Mary B. Cabin Committee, Lisa Crichton from the Community Garden, Margaret Wiley, who was just here, Executive Director of the YMCA, and then we had a bunch of neighbors. And now we're also going to have the person who is running the preschool over there. So we're trying to be inclusive and transparent. The meeting, our next meeting, and the meetings are once a month on the second Thursday at 9 in the morning. And we're going to go through the list of aspirations of each party, which we ask each party to prepare in writing and submit ahead of time. And I have them all now, and I'll probably create a cheat sheet with all of them on there. I'll also have another cheat sheet of all the operative language of all the contractual agreements that govern the use of the park. But we'll go through that with the people there. And we'll come up, we hope, with a description of our, an agreed description of the objectives of the covenants. And then we're gonna schedule a walkthrough of the park with Keith Simpson, who, by the way, did a master plan for the park in like 1985 and 86, of which we have a copy. It's totally out of date. But it's still kind of an interesting bit of history.
Can I ask a quick question about, Keith Simpson? So I know he does things and has done things in Waveney. Is he like our town person that we contract with? Because I know also like the conservation has not always done things with Keith Simpson, like
Yeah,
Waveney Conservation, so,
Conservancy, yeah, they're using some other people, they've gone
Right.
through a few different people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the,
Well, you're right, in the sense he's been kind of the common denominator. I went back and saw like the Bristol Sanctuary Master Plan, the One Park Master Plan, and he's been involved in many of these. And I know him, he's a friend, so I invited him also just to kind of have someone there who's had a background in putting together a master plan.
Also, when this was first discussed in the Board of Selectmen, when they deferred a couple of our projects, his name came up, and Amy Carroll.
Yeah.
You know, was also somebody that was interested in being on the committee.
Yeah, and he may, so anyhow, he's been involved, he's been so far very free with his time and providing things. He may want to collect a small fee that has to be approved, you know, that has to go before the Board of Selectmen, maybe even the Board of Finance. It's only a couple $1,000s though, because he mostly does these things pro bono or virtually pro bono, but at a very low cost for the amount of hours.
okay,
It's
I
just,
just didn't know if it was like something that,
well,
in
with-
terms of any design, you would have to bid out, or that if there was
It's,
a fact that.
it's a little bit different for services like this. Contract services, you don't necessarily have to go out to bid the same way. But right now, we don't have any money, so he's working for free.
and that we told everybody, there is no budget, you know.
Yeah, there's no money associated with this, like, there wasn't any money that went through the capital budget or.
But if we want to create like a master plan like this one, and it's like one probably, we need someone like a Keith Simpson who actually has the ability to
Yeah.
create that kind of map. And so he'll be very helpful. So anyhow, our next meeting is tomorrow morning. We don't have apart from the schedule for the meetings, we don't have like a strict deadline for our deliverable, which is the draft master plan. We're gonna work on that. I think after these first couple meetings of the walkthrough, I think the pace will accelerate. And I also think that and we'll see how it plays out. Some people may lose a little interest once they get their aspiration kind of expressed. And they know that we're gonna pay attention to it, and then they feel they don't have the need to attend all the meetings. But right now, we have a lot of people who are interested in these, and the list seems to be growing, not shrinking.
Hopefully,
we'll
this
see how
room
it
can
plays
handle
out.
it tomorrow. It's conference room B, which is on the first floor of town hall. It's not a huge room.
And you're all welcome to come.
Yeah.
We already have the,
There's a Zoom link too.
and of course, Tim's the co-chair, and Hank, and Gene had called me, and he has an interest too. So, the more the merrier. Again, we're inclusive and transparent. So that's my report. Unless Tim, you want to add anything?
No, I was just gonna, I mean, there's gonna be townwide interest in it. It's a great group that we have there, and these are, just to emphasize, they're public meetings, so like I talked about with Keith after the last meeting, we show up and it looked a lot like this meeting. It's on Zoom, it's public, so people who are interested to participate and watch, you know, should, just as the process unfolds.
And I certainly compliment you both on your approach to try to get as much feedback as possible, because that will help develop the master plan, and then as your timing feel, you know, that we obviously will need to start to construct something.
Yeah.
But I think the first couple meetings how you're conducting is brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, what makes Kiwanis Park kind of an interesting challenge is all the different constituencies that are represented there. When you think about, you know, the YMCA and the Thorough Scouts and the, you know, the Kiwanis Pool itself and the Exchange Club and the preschool, and I'm forgetting a couple, the community garden. There's just a lot of different groups that want to participate, and then you have all the various neighbors that have, of course, a great interest, because it's a park that's completely surrounded by residential homes. And so they all have a direct interest. So, but we're gonna go through the process, and I think we're gonna come up with something good, but I don't know that it's gonna be anything, and I doubt that it will be anything shocking.
Right. Well, I really appreciate both you and Tim taking.
Go ahead, Hank.
Okay, sorry.
Keith, I think if anybody in the commission or anybody wants to, you know, get involved in any way, probably the most important thing is to come on to the walkthrough. You know, that you mentioned. That's probably the thing that would be most helpful to have as many people as possible. Giving your ideas and understanding what's, you know, going to be happening. Yeah, and we haven't scheduled that. We'll be scheduling that at the next meeting. And again, who knows how many people will have come to the walkthrough. Again, we had 20 people at the first meeting, so we'll see. That's our report.
Any questions for Keith or Tim? Good. Thank you to both. I just also like to turn the mic over to Doug to update the Nature Center.
Thanks, George. I just wanted to circle back on Bill Flynn's presentation that he gave us a couple months ago. He offered graciously to invite the commissioners to come and take a walk around the property, look at all the projects that they're actually involved in right now, future projects that they're actually looking to kind of, you know, get going within a year or so. And he's come up with next Wednesday at 10 a.m., weather permitting. If any of the commissioners are interested in going and walking around the Nature Center with Bill, I'll be there as well. Just ping me, and then I'll give you like where to meet, when to meet, and you know, hopefully weather permitting, that you know, we can walk the property. As Bill always says, the best way to talk about what they're doing is to walk through what they're doing.
Yeah.
So when it comes to dredging the ponds and where all this is gonna go and where all that's gonna go, and this is what this is gonna look like, it's much easier to do it kind of as we're walking through it. So please reach out to me if you guys are interested, or if there's another day that works better for you. Bill is pretty flexible. He's kind of tight on the weekends. But you know, he offered that, you know, next Wednesday at 10 a.m. as a starting point. So just let me know and we'll go from there.
Thank you. That's excellent. I fortunately will be away, but I would encourage any and all of you to come. I think it'll be a great event. Yeah. Any questions for Doug? Okay, moving on. John.
I was gonna be brief because I figured after we got through the couple other presentations, we would all have had enough, but as you all know, the weather has been just absolutely wonderful. It's been raining and today we had some of our water fountains on and they froze up, you know, it's just one thing after another that way with the weather, which has also been affecting Coppo Field. I don't know if they made it today, but they were gonna start laying some carpet tomorrow. But I don't know if they got everything set. It may not till tomorrow now. Yeah, but it depends if they've got everything ready too, so I need to get up there to see that, but other than that, besides the weather, that's moving along. Spring sports, of course, are in full swing, you know, and when there's rain, it makes Ryan's life miserable trying to open baseball fields and close them and everything else. And if you sign up for those alerts, you're getting constant texts or emails. At the pool, where it's underway, we're putting in a backup pump. So our pool runs the main pool runs on one pump. So if that ever goes down, we have to shut down the pool. We don't even, if the power goes out, we have to shut down the pool. So we're putting in a backup pump. We bought the pump a year ago, but we're gonna have that installed. So then one of them goes bad for whatever reason, we're not closed down for a few days, at least, so. We're also gonna be adding some lockers, which are mainly gonna be for, you know, if you wanna put your wallet in there, your cell phone, they're gonna be, facial recognition, so that when you go up to use them, you put your face there and then you come back and get in, and then once you're back in, your face is gone and it goes to whoever next wants to sign on, so they're very simple to use. They also have USB charging ports, so if you wanted to charge your phone while you were swimming, you could. You bring your wire, that type of stuff, so we think it's something that people will actually enjoy, you know, the
Right.
people that go swimming and where do they leave their stuff?
Mhm.
So,
How many?
I don't know, the only unit we could buy has different sizes, so I really think what most people would want was the small little ones, where they can put their phone in there. But there's a couple big ones too, so I think there might be 20 of them. I'm not positive how many are in the unit.
Are they going in the locker rooms or
No.
sort of in the
This,
passing?
this is gonna be it out of the locker rooms, because we have one unit,
Mhm.
so. It's gonna be out. No, the only other thing is, summer camp, our 3 sessions, we went up to 130 kids, sold out on the first day. So, yeah, we'd love to take a lot more kids, but we just, rain date is the problem, where do we put them if it rains? So Waveney House is their place, so. Speaking of Waveney House, we've been able to have the new groom's room painted along with the existing groom's room, which is now gonna become the bride's room painted, and Bea and Rachel are working on new furniture and lighting and everything else. They've been working in the house, prepping for the elevator install, which is next winter, meaning they're chipping out concrete more than anything,
Next winter,
next winter.
so winter 2026.
Hopefully it will start in the second half of December 25,
25.
going through like March of 26, yes,
Right, wow,
so
God, that's been a project for me.
it sure has. The elevator takes about a 32-week lead time for the elevator to come up, and at this point in time, it hasn't even been ordered yet, but we're getting very close, hopefully. So, but that's been going on, so other than that. Construction.
Can you refresh my memory on the timetable for the artificial turf baseball field?
The one out here.
Yeah.
Originally, it was supposed to open April 1st,
Yeah.
but the winter was not great for construction between the cold
Yeah.
and everything. The last thing that they definitively said is the beginning of May. A lot depends on when they start putting down carpet, it's like 23 days of actual work days to get the carpet all installed.
Yeah, and this is for the field itself, because there's the area around the field, and that's a different date, I presume.
Yes, there'll probably be baseball game or practice played before everything's finished around the field.
Yeah.
They'll install the carpet. Simultaneously, they should be installing the fence around the field, then they have to top dress it, meaning they have to put in crumb rubber and sand throughout the field, and that all takes time, so. And you can imagine a baseball field, especially artificial, that line has to be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, there's the home plate bases and everything are already marked out there, so now the carpet has to be the same.
I have one quick question, Bob's, for the dog park.
Yes, we need to get going on that. Just as soon as we were gonna try to do it before, this project out here went through
Right,
the fiber optic line, and we did not have
Oh.
service over there, so
right,
every hour on the hour, I received an email saying our service was down. So
gotcha,
we really just need to,
yeah.
it's my fault.
No, well, I mean, I would wait till the
But it
field's
is.
complete and then at that point, because
Well-
if they ran into any hiccups in the next couple of months.
Well, they better not now.
No, but in terms of the you know,
Yeah,
So-
it's a matter of going through, because we're gonna have to have everybody come back in to get one, or we're gonna figure out how we're gonna mail it.
Right.
So,
And I guess that's another update on tennis courts.
tennis courts, the company came and did their service. With that said, we need to do some rolling and everything else, and we gotta have the weather prepared for it, but yes, they've been here early. So we're very happy with that.
So what's like our ETA?
If the weather was dry, I'd say about a week and a half.
Really?
yes.
So.
But I don't,
By first?
I hope so.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, but you take, with the forecast for this weekend of 3 days of wet weather.
Right, yeah.
Unfortunately, with the tennis courts, they can take the water,
Yeah.
but they can't stay moist all the time. We can't roll them when they're as wet as they are right now. And if we can't roll them, that's just another day that we need to have them rolled. We need to firm them up before we can have people out there, or
Yeah.
we'll suffer all year long through the conditions.
Speaking of the conditions, the pickleball courts where like that second one that's been peeling again, I know it had been patched and done whatever. What, is there
Very
a
disappointing.
plan?
There,
Yeah.
there is a plan. It's still on the contractor that originally installed it. He's been contacted. I tried to find an update today, and they didn't get a hold of it. It goes through Public Works. Too, but, so.
What's the problem? Is it like the cement so it doesn't adhere, or like, do you guys know what the issue, or does he?
I'd
know
love
what
to,
the
I
issue
think
is?
I know, but that doesn't mean I really know. I have a feeling something with the concrete, because
Right.
it's going right down to the layer of concrete. It's not like half of
Right.
the paint layer came off. That's bare concrete under there.
Yeah,
So something with the prep of the concrete possibly. It's depressing though, because they
it's too
can't,
bad.
you know, like in this weather, they couldn't even paint it. If they were here, they wouldn't have been able to paint it because it gets too cold or rainy.
Yeah.
So then we just have to keep waiting.
And I hate to be bugging you with all these things, but, where are we in the potential pickleball courts in Waveney?
Well, the town council went through the budget, and I believe it was last night, the Board of Finance approved all the bonding,
Which included the pickleball
which
courts?
included the pickleball courts. So we have made it, you know, as far as going through the budget, we've, that's been approved. Also the pavilion that we talked about. I'm trying to blank on what else. There was some small things in there.
So what would the timetable then be for those pickleball courts?
We had a public works staff meeting today, and I said, you know, we need to construct this fall. We can't wait.
Yeah.
So we're,
Yeah.
you know, trying to get the plans done so that we can.
And the pavilion would be by where the hopefully the playground will be.
No, the pavilion will be over near the bathrooms, near the, between
Oh, right,
Orchard
right,
Field and the
where
men's
the-
softball.
that area.
Where we put up the tent for summer camp.
Gotcha, yeah,
Yeah.
right,
So-
right, say with the playground.
Yeah.
Any update on the playground?
The latest I heard was they met with Deanna, I think on Monday, and they said that they raised around $100,000 so far, so. That was the latest that I heard from Deanna. And Monica actually just requested more flyers, so I'm sure she's still giving them out. But, I don't have a final number. We've kind of been at a standstill as far as hosting meetings, just because I wanna escalate that, the fundraising, so.
Right, yeah.
Till then.
The town also applied for a steep grant.
Okay,
For that, so.
gotcha.
And
Is that sort of like a soft launch? I know she's been in charge of it, but, like, is it very well known that they're really soliciting money for the playground? Like, I haven't really seen anything about.
I don't know, she was interviewed by Michael Diamond, I think.
Yeah,
for
like the New
podcast.
Canaan Night podcast, so,
But other than that,
yeah, it was a, what was it called? Father-daughter dance. I know that they had a table set up
Okay,
there, so they were handing out flyers. There is actually a sign, if you look at the main train station in town, there's a sign on the fence. Right in that area where the bench is and the brick walkway, so.
we'll be glad to send you the QR code.
Yeah.
If you'd like to donate.
no, I just felt like I heard so much more about the, about Mead Park when they were putting it in. And I mean, I know we're doing it, but I just hadn't really heard very much in terms of fundraising, so I didn't know if it was sort of like a first quiet launch to like people that.
It shouldn't be quiet at this point, I mean.
We need to raise the money soon so that we
Okay.
Be
can
loud, so.
order the equipment. and people move forward.
Right.
Right.
Or we just say, this is it, and we just go ahead with what we have.
Exactly.
I personally love to see that happen this year, because I know that we.
Would have liked to see it happen 3-4 years ago, but
Yeah,
yes, but I
exactly.
agree with you,
Order,
this year
yeah.
would be nice.
Okay.
I'd love to see that happen and the pavilion being built and along with
That-
pickleball courts.
Right,
That
yeah,
would just,
pavilion and the playground go hand in hand. In many respects, even though they're
Summer
separate,
camp.
summer camp.
It's a place you can go have a, you can go have a picnic, you know, you can be under the shade for a little while,
Right.
where you'll be out of sight.
Yeah.
Of the playground, so the kids might calm down to eat their lunch at least, or something like that.
Exactly.
So,
Okay, yeah, great. Well, appreciate the hard work. I know this has been a long, arduous process.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Are there any?
I have a, yeah, I have a question for John or for you, George, but for John. So we're now back in the fields with all the kids. It's busy, it's fun out there. And I'm wondering what kind of response or efforts have been put in place to socialize a little bit the code of conduct that was recently approved. And a lot of work was put there. You know, we're setting up kits for different activities. Every organization has their own waivers and set of rules. So I'm wondering what role is sort of our code of conduct playing in this season, this time around, as it was just very recently approved.
We haven't done any socializing with that on our own end. Ryan just had, I believe, like 25 signs.
Yeah.
With some rules and regulations that we're gonna be putting up on all the artificial fields, but it's not the same really as a code of conduct, even though a lot of those type of things are similar.
Yeah.
But we haven't been socializing that policy around. We could send it out to the groups.
I thought that was the intent, that when the organizations came basically to like register that they would be using it, that it would be part of what we gave them, so that they would be signing off on it, and that there would then be the ability to sort of follow up if they had a rogue actor, you know, someone within their organization, because then there would be some onus and they could, you know, have
We can
communicated.
easily send that out. I think it's a great idea.
I think we should include that, because then I think it'll, you know,
And then
more
we
people will be aware about it, and hopefully it'll just
And we could-
remind people.
We can include it in our spring and fall fields meeting, when we bring in the groups to discuss field usage.
Right,
It's mainly with the artificial fields, but you know, it's the same groups.
yeah.
Sure.
Good.
Yep, that's a good idea.
Can I just add something to that? One thing that bugs me when I walk in all the parks is people walk their dogs and they bag it and then they leave the darn bag by the walkway.
Mhm.
And then they don't pick them up.
Mhm.
And the whole idea of bagging it is you carry it out with you.
I agree with you.
And that they're there, sorry?
Are there no garbage?
There's a few, and yeah, so you might have to carry the thing for half the walk, you know, for a while, but that's part of walking the dog.
It's your dog.
Yeah.
You
You
should
know,
take, you know, it's part of owning a dog. I agree with you, Keith.
And I'm not crazy, I mean, to me, if you go deep in the foliage, I think leave it, but the people who are bagging, obviously the dog went on the trail itself. But then they leave it, it just is so frustrating. Sometimes I feel we just should have signs along these trails saying, don't bag it and leave it, you know,
Yeah.
bag it and take it.
Within the trails, there are some garbages for dog food.
Yeah, there are,
Right.
there are not.
That the conservancy, they
Right.
take care
dump
of
it.
having the company come dump those.
Yeah, but I mean, you just wherever you go, and all the
Mhm.
parks, and it's just the most frustrating thing to me. You know, I'm there with my bags and, you know, and I just see this stuff.
We actually, in terms of the parks operations, we actually had a guy go out and seek exactly that, just
Yeah.
pretty much all day long, within the
Exactly.
trails.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Because-
one bag, somebody sees one bag there, oh,
Yeah.
I can just put another one,
Right.
another one.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
Like lawn signs.
yeah.
Yeah, probably is the
Right,
worst.
like Raven is the worst.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
A few years ago,
But it's just
I think it was
frustrating.
Francesca
It
that
is really-
spearheaded the yellow flags. They wrote on them, and they
Pick me
put
up.
them up at Irwin, wherever there was dog poop.
Oh,
I've seen a few of those.
Make it
Good idea.
aware. There was one out there when we walked with the garden club on Friday.
Yep.
So,
not gonna annoy people and see them.
Yeah. At next, in our May meeting, we do I'll be emailing each of you which park you have assigned to, just to give updates on the parks and usage and stuff like that. And certainly this is something we can have a continued conversation about.
I'll take the one.
Okay. Exactly.
You
And
were-
are there any further questions of John or Ryan or Vinnie? Any further questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
My report is short and sweet. Our next meeting is May 9th, and thank you for your vote of confidence again. So, before we adjourn, are there any comments from the
We
public?
got Betty over there.
Betty?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Betty Lavastik, Old Norwalk Road. Now that you brought up the topic of Kiwanis, it was last fall that the topic of the storm, the 1,000 once in a 1,000-year storm occurred throughout the Northeast. And as everyone knows, Kiwanis Park is in a floodway. And what happened last August is a lot of the sand, when the river came up and breached its banks, pushed the sand into the pond. And we touched on it, I think it was in the September, October meeting. And I know the pond was full at that time. We're in April and June is right around the corner. John, can you mention a timeline that you have for looking at the condition of
Yep,
the
we talked-
pond?
We've talked to the people, that pump it out, which is the sewer plant, they pump it out, and also the highway department who does a lot of the work around the pond that we want to do it earlier. So,
Okay, so from what you see so far, does it look like it's doable to get the area cleaned and test out the water pump and the chlorination system and so forth?
yes, we don't foresee any problems there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Betty. Are there any other comments from the public? No, okay. Is there a motion to adjourn? Keith, okay, second. Lindsay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Under an hour.
Bye, Steve. Email it.
Thank you.
I was forgetting that one about.
Okay, you can learn.
I would have loved to have done that.